I'm joined today by the newly crowned Dutch Open champion, Jelle Klaasen. Jelle, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
And congrats on the title, and thanks for joining us. Only one place to start, and that, of course, is with that win at the Dutch Open a little over a week ago now since you won the title in Assen. What did it mean to you to add the Dutch Open to your CV?
Oh, I think everyone who would win the Dutch Open would be very happy because it's one of the toughest tournaments to win. And I think if you play WDF and you look at the ranking tournaments, that's the one to win. So now I'm really happy with this title.
And we'll come back to the Dutch Open in a bit, but let's rewind back to when we last had you on the show. And it was during the UK Open, just after you won through 3 rounds as a Riley's qualifier. Devin Peterson put an end to your run later that day, despite you averaging almost 100. What did you take away from that day in Minehead?
I played really well. I think it felt more that I lost that game than that Devin won it because I played, even that game I was scoring so well, but I was missing so many doubles. At the break it was 5-all and I should have been 8-2 up. But no, it was great to be on stage again and playing good darts, so that was really a confidence boost.
Of course, and after that, it was back to the Challenge Tour, and you had a decent weekend, a pair of last 16s and a quarterfinal from the 5 events. But how tough has it been getting to grips with playing the Challenge Tour in those 2 tournaments a day, especially coming from a long time on the Pro Tour?
It was tough. It's still tough. It's maybe sounds crazy, but it's difficult to get motivated, but. It's getting there. I just see this year now as a year to go get back in shape and get back on the Pro Tour. But beginning of the year I was really disappointed and I didn't really feel like playing Challenge Tour. But I think maybe now it's a good thing for me to get enjoy the darts again and get the form back. I think the difficult thing is playing Q School is such a gamble because it's just 1 week or for me it was only 3 or 4 days, and just have to be lucky that you're in form on that moment because the whole next 2 years depends on it, or the next year depends on that only 3-4 days of good darts. So I think Q School wasn't good for me. I didn't play well, so I think they should change the rules about getting into the Pro Tour, but I can get into that discussion another time.
Well, it's definitely a fair point. It's one that a lot of people have made. But even though you fell off the tour this year, you've still been able to play in some of the events, particularly of note being 2 appearances on the Euro Tour. The first of those in Stuttgart, you picked up a win over Callan Ritz, who won 2 titles last year, and took Rob Cross all the way to a last leg decider. How good was it to be back playing in front of big crowds again on the Euro Tour and playing well?
That never gets old. I think the Euro Tour is maybe the best tour to play on. Normally you have the best crowds in Germany and all the other places, and it's just one of the best places to play tournaments. So it was great to be back there, and hopefully there are a few more qualifiers left. So hopefully I will qualify for a couple of more.
Of course, and let's get on to the WDF side of things. You said to Alex at Minehead that you planned on playing the big WDF events this year, and we saw you made a final in Denmark, deep runs at the Isle of Man and in Switzerland. How have you found it to be back playing those events again?
It's more relaxing than playing in the PDC because in the PDC is really all about the ranking and just making money because it's your work. It's still my work, but I just saw this year as I'm only going to play the big WDF tournaments and try to qualify for Lakeside. It wasn't my goal because my goal is still to qualify for the Ali Pally and get a tour card. So if I would qualify for Ali Pally through the qualifiers, I can't play Lakeside, so that's why I never focused on Lakeside. But it's a nice bonus if I can't make Ali Pally.
Well, hopefully you get to both. Now, you mentioned playing some of the big opens. There's none bigger, or very few bigger than the Dutch Open. This is the first one back since COVID, so not surprisingly, the entries were still down, but still a big turnout. How do you approach, though, an event with a field that big?
I think if you're a seeded, I wasn't a seeded player, but as a name, I was one of the top players. So and because I played the national ranking, I'm in the top of the national ranking. I got VIP, and they always put me on the TV lane. So I had a little bit of advantage on that part on the Saturday, because all my opponents, they had to play on the TV lane, of course. And I think most of them were pretty nervous. So they didn't play their best game. So on the Saturday to qualify for the Sunday, it went pretty easy.
Now, a quick count says you won 8 games just to make the semifinals in the singles. And there on the main stage, you played Thibault Tricol, who was the Lakeside finalist, lost the last set decider he did at Lakeside. He took the first set 3-0 in a race to 2. What was going through your head at that point when he was just a set away?
I think I played 9 games before the semifinal, but that doesn't matter. No, it was tough to get used to the distance, because he already played the final of the pair, so he already felt good on stage, and he showed it in the first set. He hit everything. He had I think a 1-14 finish, 1-3-8, and a 1-3-5. So I was thinking to myself, if he keeps on playing like this, and I keep on playing like this, it's gonna be a quick semifinal. But I think at that moment, set system was good for me, because I thought, okay, this was just one set. If I just win the next set, it's 1-0, and it's still an open game. So and I think experience on stage made a big difference.
Yes, indeed. And you mentioned that it was just one set. He nearly won the next set, missing a couple darts, but you took out a double-double finish to force that last set. Going into the last set, did you feel like the tide was turning?
To be fair, I felt good the second set, because I missed 5 darts to win that set 3-1. And then I gave him the chance on 76. He had 2 darts on double 8 for the match, but they were more close to double 16 than double 8. So it looked like he had a little bit of pressure. And when I took that set, I thought, okay, I feel it's really going my way now. And even though he still had a 12 dart finish the first leg of the third set, I still felt like I was going to win this game. And I think I had a 11 dart leg, and then I broke him, and I kept my own leg. So after I won the second set, I really felt like I was going to win that game.
Yeah, you mentioned the 11 darter. You won those last 3 legs in a combined 40 darts. How pleasing was it to produce that high level when you needed it the most?
It's always nice to, if you stay calm and you can still do that under pressure, it really gives you confidence, and that's what I need this year. So no, it felt really good, and it was just a confirmation for all the work I did in the last few months, and I've been playing well, and that weekend everything came together. I played well. I had a little bit of luck, and it's always a great feeling if everything goes your way.
We'll get to the final in a second, but we saw that you walked on to a new song, switching over to Gangnam Style. Was that just a one-off for this weekend, or is making that a permanent change?
No, it was only a one-off, because my kids were there, and the last few days, weeks, they're crazy about that song and doing the dance all day. So I told them, if I get on stage, if I make the semifinals, I will put on Gangnam Style just for them. So they had a great evening.
Well, you mentioned you did it for your kids, and obviously 3-0 whitewash over Mark Barillion. Your kids were there on the stage to celebrate the win with you. How does that, winning the Dutch Open with your family there, rank among your special moments you've had in the game? Yeah,
I think I didn't play brilliant, but to win that big tournament with my kids on stage, top 2-3 moments of my life. That was so great. I'm always very calm, and even if I win a tournament, I'm always pretty still calm. But when they came on stage, I was from inside. I felt a little bit emotional. I was like, oh, it was such a great moment, and they loved it as well. They were so proud.
Of course, and one difference with the WDF compared to the PDC is that a lot of the events, including at the Dutch Open, there's pairs, and you played alongside Luke Bouyeng, making it to the last 32. Is there anything you can say about him? Was you friends with him, or just someone that you needed a partner?
Yeah, no, he's one of my best friends. We used to play local league together, and we play a lot of tournaments together. So no, I know him very well, and he's a big talent. But the last 2-3 years, his confidence is a little bit down. So I always try to help him get his confidence back, and he's starting to play better again. But yeah, it was nice playing with him on the Dutch Open. We lost the game we shouldn't have lost, but that starts.
Of course, and you also mentioned before that you might be playing, tried to play a little soft tip this year. Have you entered any events yet, or any that you got your eye on?
No, not yet. I'm looking for some tournaments, maybe in the States, to play, because in Europe there are not many big tournaments. But the last few months I focused so much on getting my form back with steel tip that I didn't want to play too many soft tip games because my throw is totally different with soft tip. So now I'm feeling pretty good with the steel tip. I'm gonna start practicing again, and hopefully if there's a big tournament somewhere in the States, or really it doesn't matter where, and I don't have any challenge tour or pro tour or big WDF tournament, I will definitely go playing soft tip.
Oh, sounds good. Maybe I'll go and try to lose to you in the first round if that happens.
That would be nice.
And then one last question. Alex wanted me to ask this. He said that when he was at Lakeside this year, he spoke with Co Stompe, who you played in your last Lakeside. And Co said he walked out to Nickelback, You Remind Me, and chose it because he knew you planned to switch over to the PDC. Did you know that story?
No, because before the tournament, we didn't even know we were really going to the PDC. It wasn't set in stone. But after I lost, we went to the PDC, and but I didn't know that was why he played that song.
Well, Jelle, congratulations on winning the Dutch Open, and best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you for having me.